Hello and welcome to Keeping It Real with Josh Hedrington, where I cut through the fluff and give you the stuff that buyers and sellers need to know. Today I am sitting down with someone who's not only a dear friend of mine, but one of the legends in the DC real estate scene. She has sold more million-dollar homes than anyone I know. Please join me in welcoming Marjorie Stuart.
Hello, Josh. Thank you so much for having me.
You're
I'm
excited.
excited.
It's so good to have you.
Thank you.
Thanks for taking the time out of your busy schedule to chat with me. I know
Of
you're
course.
in town doing an open house and you've got a lot going on, but I do appreciate your time.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So let's just get right into it.
Just ask me, see if I know the answer.
So first off, can you tell the viewers a little bit about yourself and how you got into real estate?
A little bit about myself is such a long story. How I got into real estate is easy because it was kind of by accident.
Oh, really? Tell me more.
I moved to Washington, D.C. from Pennsylvania. I was very young, and I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. And I was living in a group house with a bunch of young professionals, and I was the riffraff. I was waiting on tables and serving flambe coffees, making Caesar salads. I went home one night, and this guy Dave was sitting on the sofa next to my roommate. And he had this huge book, and I wasn't sure that Dave could read. And I said, Dave, what are you reading? He said, oh, it's Real Estate Principles and Practices. I'm going to be a real estate agent and make a lot of money.
Oh, wow.
And I thought, well, I'm eating rice and peas. I'm waiting on tables, wearing the stupid genie outfit. That sounds like a good idea. So I took the class and I passed the test.
Wow. And if you don't mind me asking, what time period was this in?
You mean how long did it take?
Well, when?
This was in 1980.
Wow.
So I moved here in 1979 and I got into the real estate business in 1980.
Wow.
So add that up.
Wow. You
Yes.
really are a legend in this business.
Does that mean old?
No, it means experience.
Thank you.
And that is why I'm so thrilled to have you with us, because you can
Thank
share
you.
so much knowledge with our viewers.
Thank
So, my next question for you is, in your opinion, given your experience in the industry, what are some of the traits that make a good real estate agent?
There's so many, Josh. The biggest two are probably you must have a lot of patience, because you're not dealing with houses, you're dealing with people. And people, when they're making decisions, they're complicated. They have things going on in their lives. You have to have patience.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got to be a good listener.
Oh, yes, you do. That I know.
And you have to really love people. You've got to be a problem solver. You've got to listen to what's your problem and how can I help you? It's really about how can you get them what they want.
Mm-hmm.
So until you understand their problem, have the patience to listen to it, you can't really help them. So I would say patience, problem solving, and then of course great negotiating skill to actually get them what they want.
Yes, that is crucial, because at the end of the day, which I've experienced in this industry, it's all about how much money you can save, or how much money you can lose, or how much money you can make if you are the seller.
And sometimes it's even just being able to tell people what they need to know, not what they want to hear. For example, back in the 90s, we were talking about how much money you would need to bring to the settlement table to sell your property.
Right.
Then we went through this huge time where it was all about how much money you're going to make, all this money you're going to get in your pocket. And now we're getting a little bit back into, are you going to make money in your pocket? Or do we need to talk about, after you pay off your loan and pay your real estate agent and pay your expenses, will you have enough money to come to the closing table? So the ability to really be straight with people and tell them what they need to know and not always what they want to hear.
There you go. So whether you want to hear it or not,
Here it goes.
Margie's going to give you the full-on story, right? You're not going to butter it up for the people.
No.
I like that.
It's not helpful.
It's
It
not.
doesn't do anything for the client.
Yeah, I'm like that too when I'm dealing with people. It's like, If you don't want the real deal, then don't ask the question.
Don't ask the question.
Okay, so having listed hundreds of homes in your career, can you tell us what are some of the factors that cause some homes to sell faster than others?
Well, it's not really rocket science.
Mm-hmm.
If the price matches the product and the condition, people will come, they will fall in love, and they will make an offer.
Mm-hmm.
So all of these things need to be in alignment. The price, the condition, the real estate agent, the location, and if all of these things are not in alignment, the house cannot and will not sell.
There you go.
I call it the prism of positioning. It's like you need to look through this prism and see that all these things are lined up.
Got it. It's like your crystal glass of real estate.
Exactly. It's the crystal ball.
I love it. I love
The prism.
The prism. I love it. Having been in the industry myself, I know that a lot of people sometimes wake up and decide what they think their home is worth.
They do.
And I'm sure when you walk into their homes, they already have a price in mind. So how do you manipulate your crystal ball to tell them that, that price you woke up with in your head this morning, it's not it?
It's not it. It's going back to what you need to know. Yesterday I was on an appointment and having this nice conversation or chit-chatting, or all sitting like this, and all of a sudden the conversation went like this.
Mm-hmm.
Because we started talking about price.
Uh-oh.
And what happened was, she didn't wake up with a number in her mind. She looked on Zillow, and she looked on these other sites, and she looked at her tax record. And where we live, all of those things that say what they say come from algorithms that are fake and made up from inaccurate information. So the public who thinks they're looking at this stuff and it's like the word of the real estate god and therefore it is true.
Right.
When I walk in the room, I'm dealing with that.
Yes.
And then it just goes back to having a discussion about what's real. What is really happening in the market? We don't even call them comparables anymore. I call it neighborhood sales activity. What just sold next door to you?
Mm-hmm.
What's your competition? What's on the market? And most importantly right now is, what are all those houses that didn't sell? And how much were those houses? And how long were they on the market? So helping people understand that they need to look at the reality of the situation, which is what's happening in their world and in their neighborhood, is what I can do to help get off that track.
I love it. And that's something that people need to keep in mind. I know Zillow does a great job marketing, advertising, and getting their name in every single household, but you can't always just go by Zillow. You really need to talk to a professional and listen to what they have to say.
And talk to somebody who has accurate information versus inaccurate information. I mean, really, why do people think that they can just go online and price their house?
Right.
What is that? Who was in the house? Who saw it? Who saw the kitchen? Who saw the bathroom?
Exactly.
Who measured the lot? How is it that we have come to believe that we look up our address online and somebody says it's worth X?
Yes.
And we believe that. So.
Yeah. And the same is actually true on the other side for buyers.
Same.
Because there are some buyers, I remember years ago, I had a client and I was showing him rental listings. And he just insisted that he saw this listing on Zillow and that he wanted to go see it. And I was like, this is not
It
for
doesn't
rent.
exist.
I'm like, it's not for rent.
Right.
And he insisted on going to see it. And I said, you know what, let's just go see it. And we went and knocked on this person's door.
You did?
Yes. So I could show him. And the person answered the door and she's like, I
Holy
lived
cow.
here. I just moved in a month ago and it's not for rent.
Jeez.
Goodbye.
There
And
you
we
go.
got the door slammed in our face. So there you go. Can't always trust that. But anyway, let's move on. I have another question for you. If there is one piece of advice that you could give a seller and a buyer in today's market, what would it be?
It would be pretty much what we just talked about.
Mm-hmm.
is look at reality. There's what we want, there's what we would like to have, there's what's on our wish list, and then there's what's real. So my best advice is be in the world of real. Just be in the world of real and adapt. And I know that right now we're living in an environment that's so different from any other environment.
Oh, yes.
We've got politics, we have wars, we have people screaming at each other and hating each other, and who knows what the heck is going on.
Mm-hmm.
But really, in my world, people have never been so unsettled as they are right now. So to just do our best to be in the world of what's real and adapt to it, because those of us who can adapt, we can buy, we can sell,
Yes.
we can help each other. But if someone isn't in the world of real, we can't help them.
That is so true.
So I would say adaptability
Adaptability.
to the world of real.
I love it. I love it. The world of real in real. That's why they call it
In
real
real
estate.
estate.
You gotta be real.
That's the hardest thing to do.
It is
really
hard,
is.
especially with so much circulating around you. There's so much misinformation going on. There's so many people in your ear telling you this, telling you that.
Find out what's real and adapt.
Exactly. And so many people that do their own research and then present it as truth, and it may not necessarily be
Right.
true. So stay in reality, people, and talk to the professionals who have been in the business.
That's my next question.
What is your next question? Let's see. Story time.
Okay.
Can you? I love stories. Can you share a story with us? A memorable story that involved a challenging deal and how you got through it.
I've had so many. I thrive on change and I thrive on challenge.
Mhm.
It's kind of what keeps me going. So let's pick one. I had one last year. It was a beautiful $2 million house. And we put it on the market.
Okay.
And we got a buyer contingent on the sale of a house. Who wants that? Nobody. But we looked at it. We sized it up in the world of real. And in the world of real, this house that we were about to sell was priced really well. It was right down the street. They had a great agent. That would be me.
Of course.
And we wrote it up for a short time period. It had to be contingent on the sale of that house to get that money to buy this listing. So we put it on the market. It sold immediately for more money than anyone in that neighborhood had ever received in the history of the universe.
Wow.
And the buyer said, "Oh, we want to stay put."
Are you kidding?
So we couldn't sell that. We couldn't sell that. Did not take that contract, and we had to get out of the contract that we had on the house. It was contingent on the sale of another house. So that's no fun. It's sad. Nobody likes it. But what do? You just go do it again. So we put it back on the market. I did all the same things I did before, and guess what happened?
What happened?
We got another contract.
Oh.
Contingent on the sale of a house
Okay.
down the street. And that house was for sale with another agent whom we knew well. We knew he was a good agent, and we knew it was a good house, and we saw that it was a great price, and it would sell quickly. So guess what happened?
What happened?
It went on the market. It sold like that. And the same thing happened. The buyer said, "Oh, I think I want to stay put."
Are you serious?
So that seller couldn't take that buyer, and my seller couldn't go through with the sale.
Oh.
So then we put it back on the market, and we did it again. And guess what happened?
Please don't tell me it happened again.
We got a really great buyer,
Okay.
very well qualified. It was contingent on reviewing some homeowners association documents. And there was a little something in the homeowners association documents that the buyer just couldn't live with. Something like, I don't know, too many birds were on the street. I don't know, something really
Minute.
minute. But they had the out, they got out. Interesting thing is, the first sale was one price. The second sale was for more. The third sale was for more. And then we put it back on the market and we did it again. And guess what?
What?
We got an amazing buyer for way more money, and it closed.
Oh, wow.
So that there again, it's the patience.
Patience is a virtue.
It's persistence. You got to be patient. You got to smile. No problem. I always say, somehow it's going to work out. We just don't know how yet. And believe it or not, we think that the first offer is the best offer, and it usually is, but in this case, the second one was better, the third one was better, and the fourth one was amazing.
It just
So
kept getting
everything
better.
worked out, the seller was happy, but if we all started yelling at each other, sometimes you see people go, I can't believe you're doing that. None of that. We just said, thank you very much. I'm so sorry it didn't work out. And we just kept moving on, persisting, being patient, and we had a really nice sale. And we drank champagne at the end, and the seller moved out.
I love it. I mean, you
That's
really
a good
have to.
story.
Yeah, it's a good story. You really have to have patience in this industry.
It's not just patience, though. It's that, do you ever work on a sale and you're working on a deal and the other agent says to you, my seller's a muckety muck, and the other agent goes, oh my gosh, my buyer's a creep. You start doing that and the other person doesn't want to work with the other person and the deal's dead. So if you have something that's a little shaky, it's not working out, somebody's not happy, don't get involved in all of the emotion. Don't get involved in the emotion, and you don't like the person's personality and you don't like the way they're doing the deal. Just smile and say thank you very much and just move on to the next thing, and it does somehow always work out.
It really does. And at the end of the day, in real estate, it's almost like astrology. A whole lot of stars and planets have to line up
That's the truth, yeah.
before you get that end result. So you really have to stay patient throughout the entire process.
So that's one of my good challenging stories. I mean, it's challenging to smile and be up and say, I know it's all going to work out, but the other thing is you have to believe that it's going to work out.
And I know you always do,
I
because
always
we talk
believe it's
a lot, and you are just. It's like you just love every aspect of it and every moment that you're going through.
I just believe it's going to work.
That's awesome. Okay, so moving right along,
Yes,
my next
Josh.
question for you is, I know you meet with a lot of clients, and through that, I'm sure you've developed an instinct of what makes a great client.
The great client.
Yes. So can you share that with us?
Yes, the great client. My husband and I always say, smart people are the best clients. By smart, people who are confident, they know what they want, they know what they're doing. They're usually very busy people, and they hire me because they trust my advice. I don't say something and they go, what do you mean? They just say, okay. So a good client for me is somebody who's smart, somebody who's confident, someone who knows what they want, and they trust that they hired me to help them make good decisions.
I like that. And it goes back to trusting the person with experience and trusting someone
And they
who
know
knows
I'm
what
going to
they're
tell
doing.
them what they need to know, not necessarily what they want to hear. I'm not afraid to tell them
They know you're going to keep it
the
real.
facts. Right.
Okay. And I think we actually covered this last question already about guiding people through this emotional journey and how to help them keep their cool.
Oh,
How do you do that?
We did.
Yeah, we touched on that.
This is so difficult because what you don't realize is there's so many moving parts in a real estate transaction. There's so many people. There's the seller, there's the buyer, there's the seller's agent, there's the buyer's agent. They're the people that work for the seller and the buyer that answer the phone, and the people that work for the seller's agent and the buyer's agent. And there's the lender, and there's the lender's processor, and there's the title company, and the person who answers the phone, and the contract manager. So they're all and the appraiser.
And the
They're
appraiser,
all
and the
these
inspector.
people,
Yes.
home inspector. They're all these people. They're all these moving parts. And sometimes what happens is, because it's so emotional, you can pretend that it's not emotional, but no matter what you're doing, buying, selling in real estate, it's emotional.
It is.
It tugs on your emotions, and if your ego gets in the way, or somebody does something that you don't like, and you're really busy and you just can't tolerate it, and you start going, and then everybody else starts doing that.
Yes.
And I guarantee you, I promise you, the whole sale will fall apart. So I say to people, if you're going to hire an agent, and it's not me, whoever it is, make sure that you hire somebody who can, I'm really high energy, but I can be very calm. I don't say one bad word about the other agent ever. I never say one bad word about my client or their client. Because once somebody says a bad word about anybody, the lender, the title company, everyone in the whole transaction gets bent out of shape. It becomes chaotic. That's your favorite word.
Yes.
Marjorie, chaos is coming. And it's over. So what was the question?
Helping them keep their
cool. Just, you got to breathe, keep it calm, and don't ever, no matter what, say any bad word about anyone involved in this transaction.
Remember that. That's great advice. And
not that we don't all make mistakes.
Yes, of course. We're only human.
Right.
But one thing that will help you stay cool in the process, which is something that you said, is working with someone who's not just a real estate agent and who's not just even tempered or high energy or a mixture of all of that, but someone who also has relationships within the industry.
Yeah.
Because if you have someone who has the relationships and the connections, then their energy, you would presume, will translate through all of these different people that they work with. Yeah. They understand that person, they understand how they work, and it just increases your chances for a much smoother transaction. So moving right along, and I promise we're almost done here. What do you consider your greatest achievement in your career? I know you said you've been at it since the 80s, and yes, but you still look young and beautiful.
Thank you.
What is it that, would you say is your greatest achievement?
Greatest achievement, I would say, is knowing how to... I built a real estate business from scratch when I was very young. And I was fortunate enough to be around the right people to teach me how to do that. And I actually threw it out, and I started again, and I threw it out, and I started again. I started my real estate business over 4 times.
Wow.
What I mean is I started selling $35,000 condos, and I got to a point where the condo fees went up, the prices went down, and my clients weren't making any more money and couldn't afford to move, and I had to say, okay, I can no longer help these people. Let me put them over here and go find a new patch. And I found a $100,000 neighborhood, and I started selling $100,000 properties. And the same thing happened. This was in the late 80s. And I put those aside, and then I said, okay, I'm going to go sell condos and co-ops up and down Wisconsin and Connecticut Avenue, because it's a lot of properties, a lot of things to get to know.
Oh, yes.
And I did that, and I became the condo queen in the 90s. And I didn't throw that out, but one day I woke up after the 2008 crash, and I said, you know what, I don't want to sell more properties. I want to sell more expensive properties. All these people that told me, you can't sell a house, you're too young, you're too this and you're too that, I decided I wasn't going to listen to that. And I moved into a neighborhood with $1 million houses to $9 million houses. And I said, okay, I'm going to keep the condo people, and I'm going to move up and sell some houses. And I was able to triple my income without selling more property. And then one day I woke up and I said, I want to go to another city. How about California?
Wow.
My only child moved to LA, so almost 2 years ago I moved to LA, and I said, you know what? I'm an expert negotiator, a great delegator. Why not do it again in a different city and keep my other business? So here I am doing that. So I would say, what was the question? My greatest accomplishment is knowing that I can use the skills that I've acquired over the years, and I can do it again and again and again anywhere that I want to do it.
Wow. And I think that may answer my final question.
Which is?
What's the secret to your success?
The secret. What did I say? The secret is, what did I say? There is no secret.
There is no secret.
There's no secret. So people ask me, Marjorie, what's the one thing you do that gets you the most business? It's everything. It's everything all together. If you don't do everything, if I don't do everything, I'm not getting the business. There isn't one thing.
That's a combination.
So there's no secret. There's no secret. So you do a lot of stuff. You bust your tail. You're nice. You're nice, but you're strong. You got to be strong, and it's not necessarily a rat wheel, but whatever wheel you're on, you got to keep doing it, and it happens. It just shows up. And I know that we all take a break sometimes, or we relax, and then one day we wake up and we go, oh my gosh, I have no business. What's going on?
Yes.
Well, there you go. There's the secret. You got to go do all that stuff again, and then you'll create the business.
There you go.
No secret.
I love it. And one thing I've heard before, which you embody that, is successful people never quit. They just keep going. And it's not that successful people don't encounter situations that are challenging or difficult or where it seems like it's a huge hill to climb. They just don't let that stop them. They keep going.
I mean, it's easy to say that, but when I think about what I do and why I do it,
Mm-hmm.
and I think, well, why am I presenting a contract, on an island? Because it's my business. It's for me. It's for my family. So it's actually fun. There's nothing more fun than walking up and down a beach with a mocktail or a cocktail, right?
Yes.
Watching an iguana run by and making a sale. So it has to be fun. You have to really enjoy it. And it has to be for you or for you and your family. And that's how I make it happen. I cannot imagine doing what I do and really not liking what I do. I mean, we're sitting here, I don't know what time it is, don't tell them.
Yeah.
We're out doing something, and Josh and I said, it's so late, should we do it? And we looked at each other and we said, sure,
Yeah,
we should.
let's just do
No
it.
one's in the office, let's go do it.
Yeah. So now here we are.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That was
And
so
that
fun.
concludes our episode
Ooh.
of Keeping It Real with Josh Hedrington. Thank you so much, Marjorie, for speaking with me. Can you tell our viewers if anyone wants to find you or contact
Oh,
you,
thank you.
how they can reach you?
You can reach me on my cell phone, Marjorie, that's not my cell phone, 240-731-8079, or my email, which is marjoriedickstewart.com. If you want to find me in LA, you can add an LA to that, marjoriedickstewart.com. Oh, marjoriedickstewartla.com. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. And thank you everyone for joining me. This is Keeping It Real with Josh Hedrington, where I cut through the fluff and give you the stuff that buyers and sellers need to know in real estate. And you can always reach me through my website at joshhedrington.com, or you can call me at 202-445-7114, where my main job in real estate is connecting you with amazing real estate agents like Marjorie Dick Stewart and all the other professionals in real estate that make your transaction smooth and successful.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for joining me.